Here's Wilson, and on the right circle, he scores!
Rebound loose, wild scramble in front, score! Levesque with a buzzer beater! It'll count!
And the hat trick tonight, number 21, Stephan.
Spectacular! Braden Holtby!
So, greetings, Caps fans. This is Anna Knox starting off the Power Play Point podcast from freezing, frigid, absolutely ridiculously cold Centerville, Virginia. Tonight's episode is a special roundtable. We have Caps fans joining us to chat about the recent games, losses, trades, etc. But before we do that, I want to include Gil. How you doing, Gil?
Hey ho, Blue Liner here. Doing things a little differently tonight, as you can hear. It is our roundtable discussion. Let's just go ahead and get right to it. But as Anna said, yes, it is freezing here in Maryland as well.
Ridiculously cold.
Ridiculously cold. So, but we're all here to talk Caps hockey, and we're all gonna. We all, when I say that, we have some very special guests coming on. But let's just start it off. Let's just chill.
Just chill.
No, nothing at all.
I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah,
But I'm not
okay.
going to say, but right now, I'm not, I've been chilling all day because our school was closed. So now I'm ready to talk these last two games, which sucked. And then the All-Stars. I mean, which I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did, but I really enjoyed it this year.
Yeah, I'm kicking myself for missing out, and I did miss out, but we'll get to that in a second. But let's do a quickie recap of the final two games before said All-Star break. First of which was back home here in the friendly confines of the Cap One. No other way to say it. Yes, it sucked, but it was also a nice, wild one. The Caps came away with, they forced overtime, so they do come away with the loser point.
Right.
And 7-6 loss, and what wasn't even supposed to be a loss because the Sharks got one to tie it with how many seconds?
Right. One.
How many? One?
It's ridiculous.
It's about how many times I passed the driver's test or something like that. How many times I slipped on the pavement the other day? I don't know. But in any case, yes, very frustrating loss. Caps did everything right offensively, just not enough right defensively. We had an Andre Burakovsky sighting.
Yeah, which I have to say, this was probably the best game he has played in a long time. Unfortunately, I think it was, due to panic trade talk, which, whatever at this point. I don't even know what to say. I mean, we'll talk about it at the roundtable more, because I know I said that this game sucked, but to be honest, I thought the Caps looked good for 45 minutes. And then that was about it. And then that, we're just not getting that 60 minutes of hockey in, and it's so beyond frustrating.
Very much so. Very much so. And it's, in this case, it was beyond 60 minutes because of the overtime. But, yeah. Overtime in Washington.
Yeah.
Overtime in D.C.
Not good.
Who'd have thought it?
Right.
But okay, moving on to the other game that was after that. Whoever made up this schedule should be clunked over the head with a shovel of wisdom, I swear. But it's a back-to-back up in Toronto. visiting the Maple Leafs. Backstrom opens the scoring. Kadri ties it. Captain puts them up 2-1. And that was pretty much it after that because the Leafs then ran away with it. Even though I will never understand this, but again, Caps outshoot their opposition and they lose again. You tell me. Somebody explain that to me. How it is that happens. And don't get it. I really don't. But
oh no, I'm there with you, and I feel guilty for not acknowledging Ovechkin's hat trick during the San Jose game. But you know what? He kind of fucked up there at the end, and I'm not going to put it all on him. But it's like, you know what? And we talked about this as a Sports on the Hill, and Robbie had a really good point that, you know, at some point it has to be about winning the game and not about just scoring 4 points in the game. So that was very frustrating. And then, of course, you know, speaking of which, I don't think he should have been in the Toronto game because I think, you know, sit him out, sit Holtby out, go into the you know, they have their all-star thing, the boys have their break, and they come back because we're taking on the Calgary Flames, which is no joke. I mean, they're not a team that we can go in and just assuming we've got this, especially the way that we've been playing lately. So
absolutely not.
I'm incredibly frustrated that he didn't sit out, and I know that some people were saying like, oh, you know, they want to, you know, Reardon wanted to do this and that. But I honestly feel that, like, when it comes to Ovechkin, I feel like he is going to, he's just going to advocate for himself. I mean, he's going to come out there and he's going to say, you know what, screw this. I want to play the Leafs. I'm going to play hard. And this is how it is. And no, I'm not going to back down. And I want to see it. I want to see this team win going into the break because that's what everybody needs mentally. So unfortunately, you know, it didn't turn out in our favor against Toronto, but and you know what, he looked tired and it's a shame. So coming, you know, out of this break, let's hope for the best. And it looks like we have let's see, 3 of the 4 callers on right now, and I'm not sure who's on. So if you guys want to introduce yourself, that'd be awesome.
Well, hang on. We got to talk about the All-Star break.
Oh shit! Sorry.
The festivities themselves. Sorry, guys. We'll get to you for sure. You're the stars of this episode for sure. But gotta talk about the All-Star festivities. And like I said, I'm kicking myself. Well, if I could kick myself, I would. But I decided to opt out because I was puking sick of hockey at the time because, well, yeah, of all the losses. But as it turned out, it was a kick-ass game as the Metro All-Stars took it away and won it. And even better was the skills competition, which I always make an effort to watch. But I don't know, it's kind of late this time. I'm used to it being on a Saturday. It was on Friday night for some strange reason. And so I just missed out on it. But how do you like that? I mean, how do you like that with Carlson not only winning the hardest shot competition and, you know, keeping it in the DMV, pardon me, and but who really stole the show were the ladies.
Oh, hell yeah.
Kendall Coyne. My God.
She fucking rocked it.
Why?
She rocked it. And I have so much respect and admiration for her. I can't. It was, and you know what? I will hand it to the All-Star players who every male player was equally as excited and pumped, and you know, she got the ovation that she absolutely deserved and the respect. So yeah, that was that, and Brianna. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah, Brianna Decker, of course, winning the what was it, the puck control competition?
Right.
Yeah. How about that? That was that was something to stand up and cheer for sure. So I didn't want to gloss over it, but I did want to make mention of that. Of course, we're supporting the campaign of women in sports. We had Nicole Giordano on here last week, I think it was, yeah. To help promote that. So we're still standing by that. So yeah, that was, I don't know about anybody else, but that was absolutely great to see. Even if they didn't have the great showing that they did, that still would have been great to see. But that on top of the fact that they both did so well.
Agreed.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
You know what? And it again, it is not as if the women in sports are all of a sudden saying, we're better than males, we need to take the sport over. That's not the message at all. It is just saying, hey, listen, we're equally as sick on the ice and speed and everything else. We've got the skill. So we just want an opportunity. They're not taking anything away from the male players. So when the male players have that respect, I have respect for them. I mean, because that's really, she looked amazing. Like they both did. And I just think it's outstanding. And I'm hoping that we see more females, in whether it's a female league in the NHL, going forward. I'd be all over that, watching. I don't skate, so I wouldn't actually be participating, but I would be a huge fan. But yeah, I think it was great. And I have said this before, and I know you're kind of like, blah, whatever with the All-Star, but I think I enjoy watching it because I do enjoy watching the personalities of some of the players that I kind of hate. So like, I don't want to go into everything so negative and so like, oh, I hate that guy. And of course, so speaking of which, you've got Sidney Crosby, who, tosses the puck to a kid in the stands who's wearing an Ovechkin jersey. You got the haters out there that said, oh, it's a load of bullshit. It wasn't genuine. It was kind of a in your face, I'm here and Ovi's not. I'm going to take another stand and just say, you know what? It was a sportsmanlike gesture. And regardless of who the player was, it made that kid's day. And good on Crosby for that. And other than that, I don't have much else to say, but I will. But I like it because I hate to say it, but I'm a huge Johnny Hockey fan. I love that kid. He is so freaking good. And not that I want to go up against him our first game back, but when he's in the skills competition and you have an opportunity to see him just, oh my God, like he's so good and he's so young and he's very, humbled by everything. And he always looks very excited to be there. And I like to see that. I like to see the players, kind of off the ice and in a different light.
And I do too. But I just have one last thing to say is that kid that caught the puck from Crosby, I'd have treated it like that 1.5 inch fish that I caught as a kid and thrown it back.
Oh, no, you wouldn't have.
Yes, I would have.
No, you would. You're not that much of an asshole. Come on.
Or
maybe you are, and I'm like, not. I don't see that side.
Maybe.
Okay,
maybe
well,
not.
listen.
Okay.
I muted everybody only because I wanted to be sure that we got through the All-Star thing, because you're totally right on to stop me from jumping ahead. You want me to? I'm going to go ahead and unmute everybody and have them introduce themselves.
Okay. So one of our guests I'm going to introduce. But he has been on our show several times before, and I'm gonna make a play on his name a little bit if he can indulge me. But the world of professional wrestling has its own The Game. Well, I like to think that this gentleman is our version of The Game because he knows The Game, and that of course is Mr. Christian Levesque.
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Hi, Christian.
Hey, great to have you on our panel. And so we have also a standout who was with us before to share his experience with the outdoor game that took place in my backyard hometown of Annapolis. That's Mr. Ronnie Schrantz. Say hello.
Oh, No, you know what? I only have 3 people that called in, so I'm thinking
okay. So we're without Ronnie. Okay.
okay.
All right. So we'll just hang out for him. Hope he joins us. And we also have 2 newcomers on the line. The first of which is related to our guest, our first guest. That's Mr. Stephan Levesque. Stephan, why don't you take a couple minutes, introduce yourself, tell us how and when you became a Caps fan, and tell us all about yourself.
Good evening. I appreciate it. I'm the better Levesque brother, so we'll start off.
Nice.
Longtime Caps fan, just like my brother. Early 80s. We're talking, what was it, 83, 84, game against the New Jersey Devils, when the Devils, I think, wore their best uniforms, the red, white, and greens.
The Christmas colors.
Glenn Chico Resch was in goal for the Devils that night.
Good old Chico, yeah.
Yeah. So I've been a season ticket holder for a long time. Life happens, family happens. I'm no longer a season ticket holder, but I've been there. By far, hockey is my favorite sport. I'm a Washington area sports fan, don't get me wrong, but hockey is it for me. I wait the summer. I anticipate, I wait for hockey. When hockey's not on, part of me is missing. I'm not complete until it's hockey season. I grew up a very large Wayne Gretzky fan. I love Gretzky. I think he is the great one. And I will debate anyone down who thinks he isn't. But I love the Caps. And I'm very educated when it comes to the Caps, when it comes to stats and what they're up to and all the trials and tribulations this team has been through. I've been to more Game 7 losses than I care to count. I've been there. I know it. But this is our team. When they win, we all win. When they lose, we all lose. We all feel it. And we knew this season wasn't going to be an easy one. Maybe a little Stanley Cup hangover, but here we are. And just coming off the break with the first game coming up on Friday and a very, very busy schedule in February that could definitely make or break this team. I mean, you have a game almost every other night with 2 back-to-backs thrown in there. So February is going to be a very key month for this club. And will determine...
Indeed it is.
And it could determine what changes, if any, that GM Brian McClellan make. And
okay, well,
this is a very key month.
So, absolutely. That all good points, but probably stuff we're going to get into here when we pose our questions. So we will now introduce our final panelist, who has posted on our Facebook page quite a few times. You've heard from her, but this is her first time on the show as well. We've mentioned her a lot, but finally, love having her on. I want to preface this by saying she's being a trooper tonight. She's fighting a bit of a nasty cold, as she explained to me, but she's agreed to come on and post her thoughts with us today on our roundtable panel, and that's longtime Caps fan Lisa Desabrais. Lisa, how you doing tonight?
You know what? Can you hear me? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You're coming in great.
Well, my earbuds died, so I had to do something else. As Anna said, being part of a Caps fan, the pain and the nausea go with it. So I'm actually doing pretty good tonight.
We're glad you're here. I said, yeah, she sent a message before saying, that she couldn't come on because she wasn't feeling well. And then a couple of hours later, it said, I sent a message to Gil saying that I'm in, pain and nausea, whatever aside. And my response was, spoken like a true hockey fan. So hats off to you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Most
spoken like a true Caps fan as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Haven't been a Caps fan as long as you all have, but probably about 10 years or so, as you say, life and kids get in the way. But I've been a season ticket holder for the past 5 years. So definitely these last games that have not gone so well, I've been there front and center to watch it all.
Sounds great. All sounds great. So that's great that you weathered the storm, as it were, to come on. Love having you on here. So okay, so it's going to be Anna and I plus the three of you. Like I said, holding out for Ron to come on, but not sure. But he did tell me he'd try to make it on. But if he comes on, great. If not, no biggie. I'm sure he's tied up.
Yeah.
I'm digging myself a hole. Sorry. Okay, so with Anna's help, I have come up with several questions. So I'm just going to give quick overview of the format. We're going to start out with two kind of mid-range answer questions. I'm going to ask all three of you to kind of keep your answers to about maybe a couple 3 minutes each, just so everybody has a chance to have some equal time and get their thoughts out there. And Anna, would it be you got all my questions, right? I texted you all the questions.
Yes. Did you need me to pull them up?
Well, I was. Did you want to switch off? Did you want to do like just the lightning round questions? I'll explain that in a second. Or how do you want to do this?
You know what? I will leave the lightning round questions for you, and I'll go ahead and ask the first question, and I will.
Go ahead and announce. Go ahead. Intro the first two.
The first two questions.
Because there's two. You'll need to bring up. There's the first two, which are mid-range answer. Go ahead and introduce those, and we'll go over the lightning round. The lightning round is going to be several short answer questions, yes, no, one sentence questions.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that in the second part. So Anna, go ahead and introduce the first two, starting with number one that I sent you.
Right. Is that how this works,
Please?
Gil? I start with one. Okay. So the first question is the hangover question. Have the Caps hit the wall? Why or why not? And
okay. So, Anna, yes. You decide. You decide who goes first. I'll shut up.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with Christian.
The hangover, the proverbial question. I would say yes, but they can get over that hangover. Like us, we can get over a hangover quick, right?
Takes a little bit longer when we're older, but yes.
Yeah, so I'm a lot closer to 50 now. But anyway, so I read an article about 2 weeks ago when the Capitals first started to hit this skid, and Dan Bylsma had said that after the first Stanley Cup run, I think it was for the Penguins, that they hit their hangover. They were close to rock bottom, and it was about this time of year too. As a matter of fact, it was, because you figure in with some of the preseason games, and then you figure in all the rounds of the postseason to include the Stanley Cup run. Your team has played well over 100 games, 110, 115 games max. Those guys are tired mid-June, right? Mid-June, second week of June, that's when everything ends. Then you've got a quick turnaround. You've got no summer, if you think about it. You're still partying. You're taking the Stanley Cup everywhere. You're probably going to start gearing up around August, September timeframe, right? So do I think there's a hangover? Yeah, it seems like the team I don't think they've lost focus, but I think they need to go back to basics. So I saw recently that Ovi is back from his vacation to Cuba. They hit the ice tomorrow at not Kettler, wherever it's called now. And then they have a game against Calgary Friday night, a crucial game against Calgary. Calgary's pretty good, scary good to me. But yeah, I think so. But I think they can get over it though. They're only 3 points out of first, and it's not a huge hump for them. They can turn this thing around in a couple games, I think.
I agree. Lisa, what are your thoughts?
The only thing I don't really like is when they call it a hangover.
Right.
I know they're tired. I know they've played a lot of hockey, but I just think we need to find another word for it. My thing is everything kind of started going south as soon as Holtby got injured, because actually both goalies were playing lights out, and then of course poor Copley had to come in, and he played on the CBJ game What was the game after that? Was it Blues game?
Predators.
And it had to do back-to-back with
The Preds.
Was it the Preds that he had to play? And then,
Yeah.
but he had to play back-to-back games.
Yeah.
And that's just when it all just kind of, can you say, went to shit?
Yeah.
So I think maybe they hit a mental wall. I don't think it's a hangover. But I know for a fact that defense has got to get their shit together, because I think that's why the decline in both Copley and Holtby happened as well, because of the team that was playing in front of them. And yeah, people will call me a Holtby apologist, but both goalies were playing great before that.
I agree. Stephen, what are your thoughts on the quote unquote hangover and have the Caps hit the wall? Why or why not?
A little adversity is good. It's not to be a cakewalk. A lot of the teams in the Metro have, improved themselves. Tampa's quite an adversary this year. You got Columbus,
the Islanders,
not a bad hockey squad. The Islanders,
first place.
Islanders. I don't know if the Islanders are going to continue their winning ways. I mean, I'd be surprised. I expect them to plateau. But the Caps, their biggest thing right now, and they need the adversity. They need it. Hopefully it serves as a wake-up call. They've had a number of closed-door player meetings. But I think what they're dealing with is, they kind of have that hangover that they need to, get it off their shoulders and push on through. But they're playing with a lot of complacency going on. I don't know if it's because they're tired or they're not into it. But with their bye week happening, perfectly after the All-Star break, as it is, when you look at the standings, they're not as bad off as we're making them sound. They've had some ugly games, very high-scoring, ugly games these past few, the past few contests they've been into. But the core is still there, the same core as last year for the most part. You have a change at coaching. You have some different styles and coaching beliefs going on. But I think the biggest thing for them right now has been complacency. They need to hit the wall. They've hit the wall. Is it over? Well, we'll see how they play against Calgary. Look at the schedule. They got Boston, Vancouver, Colorado, Florida, the Kings, and then the night after they're going against Columbus.
Right.
They have some tough teams to go up against. They have a West Coast trip coming up once again, but they have 6 home games. 6.
Yep.
They've lost too many at home this season. The home fans deserve a little bit better. You have some boo birds out there.
I know that.
You have some boo birds out there that, the Caps, they've seen the Caps drop games that they should have won, in the closing minutes or, the last second.
Right.
So you have your boo birds out of there, and, deservingly so. So have they hit the wall? Yes.
What they do from it.
Over that wall? I don't know if they have another wall yet to hit. But adversity for this team is necessary. Just like Christian mentioned, when the Penguins did their back-to-back, they were in the basement. Everyone was, saying, well, we're glad they suck. They won the cup. They beat us in Game 7. They suck. They're not going to repeat. What did they do? They turned it around this time of the year, and they did it again. So, that's something to look at.
I agree. What about you, Gil?
Well, I'm of two minds about this. Yes, a little adversity is good, but this was more than a lot of adversity. More than a little, it was a lot. I saw things that were very appalling, very shocking, very disturbing at times. I saw lack of effort that is not becoming of a championship caliber team, let alone somebody who actually won something. I saw just plain, just not playing, not giving their best effort. And Stephen mentioned the Boo Birds. Well, that's why, because we all know this team is so capable. So the answer to the question, have they hit the wall? Most certainly. But I think it's more mentally that they've done that versus physically, because even though they've been hit with a lot of back-to-back games, they have also the long stretches where they could rest and recuperate. And it still didn't do them any good. They still came and played half-assed games some of this time. So I think it's more of a mental thing. And as to why, well, I don't know 100% that they were prepared with, as they say, when you reach the top of the mountain, everybody puts a target on you, paints a target on you, and comes after you. I don't know that they were 100% mentally prepared for that. And I think that's a factor. That's the main answer to the why. So you factor in those two things. Now, there's no reason why this team should make an excuse. Nobody's going to make an excuse for them. I know everybody's going to say, well, the refs did this, they didn't call that. Yeah, of course, we've been the victims of many bad calls, but then so have all of the other 30 teams this year, because it's been bad across the board. So it just comes down to better mental preparation, and they need to understand internally that they're on the mountaintop. Everybody else is coming after them, and it starts now. The playoff run starts now. That's the mentality they need to get into. And for me, that's what it's all about.
I agree. And you know what? I'm going to ask myself the same question, just to kind of throw my 2 cents in, that I agree with what everyone has said. I do feel like this is a mental thing. I feel like I cannot say that they are physically exhausted, because they're not, all the other 31 teams or 30 teams out there have played just as many games, just as many minutes. So I don't want to use that side of the physicality end of it as they're exhausted. But I do think mentally, when you have Holtby get injured, you have a Kuzi get injured, you have Oshie, you have Wilson. They've had a lot of things in which those leaders were injured and not on the ice. And I think that kind of messed with them a little bit. We have young players that I think can absolutely step up and kick ass, and they have definitely done that. But we're kind of missing the chemistry that needs to come back on the ice. We obviously see them having a great time during practice and on the bench, but on the ice, it still kind of seems like we're missing a little bit. And then I think also, my biggest concern with these guys, and I'm hoping they'll find it, is it doesn't look like they're having fun. And I felt like last year, even once they were able to kind of get that whole dark cloud of the Penguins over, get over that hump, they were out there having fun, no stress. That was the kind of hockey, because when they're also stressed and they're trying so hard, you're going to make a ton of errors. And I think that's where we're at right now. The passing's off, just the goal shooting is off. They just don't have it all together. So I'm hoping after this break that they have some time together. I almost wish they would do a close practice, just to kind of let the team just be on the ice without everybody there taking pictures and talking and giving their 2 cents, and just kind of but I agree, Christian, like you, I wrote down the same thing, back to the basics. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Go back to the basics.
I think if they were to get back to the basics, they could, A, get their minds back, B, start playing better hockey and C, having fun. I mean, just a few things I've noticed and observed the last few weeks is that they can't get out of their own zone. bad
Right.
breakout passes. They've got no puck control. There's no discipline. And it seems like some of the players are out of position.
Right.
And on the power play as well, they cannot win a face-off at all. And when you win a face-off on the power play, you're going to score. They're not scoring. They're not winning face-offs. That concerns me, especially going down the stretch. What are they going to do to address that issue? Are they going to
Right.
are they going to start going back to basics, or B, possibly make a trade to shake up the team, possibly bring somebody in, a veteran, a rental in? You know, I always thought that GMBM did a great job in putting his team together. He did a great job in keeping some of the pieces that we need. Hey, I was a Jay Beagle fan, but I knew that Jay Beagle wasn't going to stay. I know that they asked him, and I know he was going to ask for more money. He's a great player, but, you know, hey, things happen. It's a business. But possibly going after somebody else who's maybe to play a third line, fourth line center that is a power play and a PK specialist and can win you face-offs.
Yeah.
And then maybe possibly getting rid of, you know, a fan favorite like, let's say, Burakovsky or a Bowie. Package them up and send them somewhere. I like a certain player, and I'll probably mention his name later, that I think they should keep their eye on, who's a rental that could help this team out. He's another veteran as well, too.
That's awesome. That was a great. I'm so glad. This first question was so good. So going on with our second question, it is, what, if anything, needs to be done with the defense? And I'd love to start with Lisa on this one.
I don't know. You know what? I was looking through my stats on all the defense, and of course, Orlov is not a favorite of my husband. But
I'm not a favorite either.
no, I mean, if he and Niskanen are not playing well together, but Kempny and Carlson are, do you keep Niskanen and Orlov together, or do you break them up at the detriment of how well the other two are playing together? And that's the problem. What is Carlson is a plus 17. Kempny is a plus 20.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got, you know, and I know a lot of people don't go with the plus and minus, but, you know, Niski's minus 10 and Orlov's a minus 11. So what do you do?
Right.
And both have looked bad at times.
Well, they most certainly have. And
yeah.
Is Kempny looking well because Carlson's playing so well? My biggest thing
True.
is they've got to put the pairings together. They've got to stop switching out the fourth line. And if it means that someone's going to get sent away, that just needs to happen because they're not on a line together enough to allow for any good chemistry. Or when they get in the lineup, they're afraid of making mistakes because they'll get pulled out of the lineup. And if that means that Devontae Smith-Pelly, sits on the bench, that means he sits on the bench. Because, and I'll probably get blasted for this, I've never been a fan of him. I understand that he did come out big time in the playoffs, but he doesn't do anything in the regular season. And to me, they need contribution in the regular season just as much as the playoffs.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Stephen, what do you think? What, if anything, needs to be done with the defense?
More consistency is my thing. I mean, you have some young kids that have bright futures. Bowie being one of them. I didn't totally agree with him being scratched for 6 or 7 games. And you have Jaskin. Why isn't he getting more ice time?
Love him.
Orpik coming back from injury. Is the mileage starting to show? He hasn't been, the Orpik of last. Last year, Orpik was just a beast. And this year, not so much. I mean, you pairing him with Orlov, that sort of thing. And Orpik, he's a stay-at-home defenseman. He's not fast. He's not known for having those huge skill sets. I'm not bashing the guy, but I'm just questioning at this point: is the mileage starting to show? Strong possibility that this is his last go at it.
Right.
I think there's been some talk in the Twitterverse about this, that this is probably his last season. But the defense, they haven't. The structure's not as we've been used to. Maybe we were spoiled with how things were under Trotz. You look at the defensive system now, and you look at our D coach, and you kind of look about what he was doing and what his career was like as far as coaching. I know our system of play is not so much trap, and we played a lot of trap hockey under Trotz. Our system is it's kind of like it's definitely hybrid, but I would like to see the younger kids getting more time in there than what we're seeing. Does Orpik need to play every night? No. Bowie should be getting more ice time. Jaskin should be getting more ice time.
Siegenthaler,
another one who's been a bright spot. But it all comes down to the basics. We need to get the puck out of our zone, get it out there, and you've seen, like I said, a word that I brought up earlier: complacency. On all aspects of the team. Ovi's made his mistakes. Kuzi has made his mistakes. Oshie, so on and so forth. Everyone is guilty of it. Inadvertent passes, bad passes. You can't even get passes tape to tape. Shooting has been off. You couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with a lot of these shots. Something's hasn't been clicking. Again, if you look at the record, it's not as bad as how we're portraying it. But there has been some significant flaws that have really opened, and you can see the flash. It's like flaring mistakes and scary things that could turn into trends that could sink this team. I'm staying back. I'm holding on with complacency. Like I said,
I think that
they're only a couple points out.
Right.
So absolutely.
Right.
But I have faith. GMBM has shown that he has the pulse of this team. He knows it and knows it well. He has made significant moves to improve this hockey club. He learned a lot from George McPhee. I don't say anything bad about George McPhee. Yeah, there was a couple moves that everyone wished he didn't make. But we look at our squad. That's a GM team still out there. Most of your players are all because of him. But GM, Brian McClellan, I have faith in the guy, and I know he's going to continue to make moves that will benefit this squad. I don't think we don't have to have that fear that there's going to be some crazy trade and everyone's going to be wondering why'd you do this and why'd you do that? Well, people are going to ask that anyway. But he has proven that the moves that he has made have been very prudent and very smart, extremely intelligent.
All good points.
Look at the way he flipped Orpik around.
True.
The league may have slapped his hand for it, but it wasn't anything illegal. But he's worked his magic, and I expect magic to be worked again, even if it's at the cost of Burakovsky or someone else. We don't really have the draft picks to give.
No. Well, that's all good. All certainly good points there, Stephen. But the focus, of course, was the defense, and you're right. It just comes down in part to complacency, and but we talked, all of us here talked about personnel mostly. Well, I have a hard and sad truth. According to Cap Friendly, the Capitals are, well, if you want to call it this, stuck with Dmitry Orlov until the end of the 2022-23 season, because that is his last contract, and it comes with a price tag of $5.1 million. So for those of us, and I am one of them, who have been very disappointed with his play, yeah, unfortunately, that's a hard and sad truth to live with, but I do think he can turn it on when it comes time in the playoffs. Yes, he costs us at times, but and I get nervous whenever sometimes he handles the puck into the offensive zone, especially when he's on the edge of the blue line. But I do think he has proven himself when it comes time. So, like I said before, if everybody can just knuckle down and realize, okay, playoff run starts now. What bothers me a little bit is that, and I think this was mentioned earlier as well, but I think Barry Trotz had a better hold on who to plug in and where as far as the overall defensive system. And don't forget that the forwards play a part as well in this, because they are supposed to back check, and when they don't, it's noticeable. That's where you get these runaway 7-6, 8-5 plus games. So the answer, I would say, from my perspective, as to what to do with this team, well, get back to what it was that made you successful. Get everybody, regardless of who's plugged in, to stick to the system. Stick to what won you the cup in the first damn place. Okay? Don't be out of position. Don't take that wild chance on a breakaway. Don't hang out in the zone hoping for a Hail Mary pass. Okay? Stick to your coverage area. Don't miss your assigned responsibility. And for God's sake, don't make a pass that you don't have to, when you can just easily chip it off the boards and get it out. Make the smart play. Stick to what works and what has always worked. And I really think that's all that needs to be done.
Okay. Well, I think
that and maybe possibly going back to reshuffling the defensive lines the way they had it in the beginning of the season. I think at the beginning of the season, the way the defensive pairings were, it worked out pretty well. But and then Orpik comes back and things happen, and I really thought that the sitting and the scratching of Bowie kind of hurt his development.
Well, that's
quite
true.
a bit.
That's true.
You know, and I thought the kid was playing really good hockey, but now I think he's driven further down the depth chart now with the play of Siegenthaler. I'm pretty impressed with Siegenthaler now. He can hit. He's a big-bodied kid out there as well too. But I do like the youngsters. Don't get me wrong, you know. But I think, complacency. They need to make the right passes. But I think maybe sometimes you need to sit Orpik down as well too, a couple games.
Yeah, no, I think that Coach Reardon is still finding his way, and he will eventually figure out who to plug in and when and where and how it's appropriate and all that. I think as far as that goes.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree.
That'll fix itself in due time. Okay, so for that, I think we'll go ahead and close that question. So it is now on to our lightning round. So what I have for you all here is let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quick questions. Okay, so folks, we're going to keep this short. It's either going to be yes, no, or very short 30-second answers, if you all could, please. So we're going to start with the first question, and this has been on left some lips lately, to some surprise, but just going to put it out there. Should the Caps fire Todd Reardon?
No.
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 And I'm going to chime in with no as well. Like I said, he's still finding his way, and I think he has made some mistakes, but he'll learn. He's learning as he goes, and he does have the experience and knows what it takes to win. Okay, question 2. Name the one player who is above any blame based on his performance so far this season.
Orlov.
I hope that was a joke.
Oh, no. That's a tough question. I don't know. Shoot.
Carlson?
I don't know. Carlson's done pretty good.
Yeah,
okay, Lisa says Carlson.
I'm not going to fault Ovi for his play. Yes, when he makes a mistake, he is the first person to own up to it. Hey, I effed up. My mistake. That's on me.
Okay, so Stephen says the captain.
I would have to agree. It would be Ovi as well too, because he usually owns up. If you listen to some of his comments after a game.
Okay, well, very good answers, but I'm going to go in a slightly different direction, and I'm going to say Braden Holtby, and that's going to be a bit of a surprise to some, because yes, it could be said that he hasn't been as great as he could be. I think it's also a bit unfair to compare him to the Save. We all saw that, but his leadership qualities, more than his play on the ice, are what are impressing me, which is all the more sad when you consider that it's possible he won't be with the team 2 years from now, but that'll play out in and of itself. But the one guy who has been above reproach in my eyes is Braden Holtby. Okay.
I would throw up as an honorable mention Phoenix Copley. No one was expecting much out of him. But unfortunately, a goaltender, they're often the victims of poor play in front of them. It's just the nature of the position.
Very
Amen.
true. Very, very true. Good answers all. Okay, so now we move on to question 3. And the other end of the spectrum, who has been the most disappointing player so far this season?
Who's nets off?
I'd have to say Eller, and I love Tiger.
Really? Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, Eller. Yeah, but I would have to go maybe honorable mention, with Eller, but yeah.
Well, I can definitely see. I see those. I see the pros and cons of both those answers. And I too would have to agree with Kuznetsov. We're seeing him on at third line center. Has he been winning the key face-offs? No. Has he been showing his skill and scoring, prowess so far? No.
Gliding.
Definitely. Yeah, he's off the mark. Is he nursing something? We don't know. But he's someone that, showed his greatness in the playoffs, and everyone turns it up. Everyone, in the playoffs, it's different than the regular season. The mentality is completely different. But you need to get through this marathon of a season in order for your chance to play in the playoffs. It's a marathon. It's not a race. It's a marathon.
No, it's definitely, yes, it is a marathon. It is not a sprint. Anybody says otherwise has never watched a full season of NHL hockey. So very true. So for my take, I would have to say the most disappointing player so far this year. And I get that maybe he is this year's version of Esa Tikkanen. For you history buffs out there, don't care about the regular season, turn it on in the playoffs. Devontae Smith-Pelly. I had so much. I was so high on this guy, and he repaid that in spades in the playoffs with his performance in the final series. But he has gone down so low, and I'm kicking myself for this again, but unfortunately, he's been benched a few times, and he's been worthy of the benching, and you've seen why. Now, when he's on, he moves the puck well, still has the nose for the net. When he's off, he's a turnover machine. And we need him to be on more than off. So that's where I'm going with that. It's killing me to say that because I love the guy. I love that he's here. I love that he represents the team. But DSP, sorry, you're not getting it done. You need to get it done. You can do better. Okay, next question. And this person's name's been mentioned already a few times, so I know what your answers probably all are. But should Dmitry Yashkin play every game?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. And sorry I missed it. Those first couple questions. I had a little kid emergency, but we're all good. We were able to figure out what flavor ice cream we were having for dessert. So life is good. But let's
Chocolate.
just right.
Life's mysteries solved.
Right. And here I am thinking like it is something urgent, and I'm muting myself on the podcast being like, okay, this is live. You better be bleeding or something. And he's like, I just, can I have both ice creams in a bowl? I don't care. Yes. And do whatever. But anyways, back to number 23. I have been a huge fan of his from the beginning. And like I've said, from the get-go, I've got this thing for the number 3s. It's my trifecta this year. I've got the Vrana, Yaskin, and Wilson that I think are the players that they've just impressed me, especially Vrana and Wilson. Although Willie, the last couple of games, I'm like, well, was he even playing? But I think definitely need to put 23 out there more.
Okay.
And I don't understand why they don't.
Yeah, no, that's a head scratcher to me because I like. Go ahead, Lisa.
He's one of the most defensively responsible forwards that they have out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But yet he's up eating nachos every night.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I would have to agree. Yeah. He is. He's physical. He's got some skills, obviously, but why? I've been a couple times on a couple pages scratching my head. Why is the kid eating nachos in the press box? He should be down there on the ice. I don't know.
And he's got probably the most element of grit. He's probably as close a replacement. If he could take face-offs, he would probably be as close a replacement to Jay Beagle, several years younger, that we're going to get, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. So he's got that element of grit to him that this team so desperately needs to cling to, but doesn't for some reason. So
yeah,
that's so we all agree he ought to be in the lineup every single night, and he's not. So maybe that's something they'll figure out, that he's something of a difference maker there. So we got one question left for this lightning round, and again, this has already been mentioned, a very insightful panel we've got here, but basically their first game back, it's going to be against the Flames. Recharged or rusty will be our caps. What say you?
I'm hoping recharged.
Yeah, I'm going with slightly rusty and thinking that we've seen this before in the past. The belief that they can just flip a switch and turn their game back on. So has it been officially said that Ovi is sitting out against Calgary?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to have our offense is going to be a different look to it without Ovi there.
Basically, you're saying both elements of both.
I'm saying both. Yeah, elements of both.
They've never come out of the bye very well. So I'm going to say rusty, although I'll be sitting in the stands watching my 5th home loss. That's not going to be very pretty.
Rusty.
Christian, what say you?
I say rusty, but like Steph, and like Lisa. So the light switch thing, this team has always had that ability to, if they fall behind, they think they can flick on that switch and score a couple goals. We've seen that already this year. But at the same time, history, this team has never played well after a bye. If it's after 2 games or 3 days, they've been rusty. After the bye last year, they were rather rusty as well. So I think it's going to be a combination of both. They're only going to have 1 day of practice. I was hoping they would have at least 2 days of practice. I'm disappointed about that because during the 7 game losing streak, they've had really no time to practice and try to hit that reset button. Yeah, I think they're going to be a combination of both, really. And Calgary is really good.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Copley in net giving Holtby a little bit more rest from his All-Star time.
I agree.
Carlson may not see as much ice time as he normally does, just for additional rest from the All-Star break. So it's, we'll find out tomorrow during practice what things are looking like. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see Phoenix Copley get the start.
Very observant.
Victim. He's been a victim of, poor play in front of him.
But he always seems to rise to the challenge. Yes, that was a bit of a pun, but he seriously though, he answered it very well, filled his role in very well. I'll give him his due. I did say he was one of the major question marks this season, but he's filled in as a backup very nicely. Anna, so did you put out your thoughts about whether or not they'd be recharged or rusty against the Flames?
You know what? I think I'm going to go with the recharged. I'm going to have to be the black sheep in the group, and I'm okay with it. It's not the first time.
You're a black sheep. You're a ray of optimism here.
Look at you. There you go. Ray of optimism. I like it. But honestly, I think it's because they are coming off of a 7-loss streak. People, social media and coaches and fans, everybody's frustrated. Everybody's got their 2 cents to put in. That starts to kind of, it gets to you mentally, and you're going to really have to hope that you have the coaches and the leaders on the team that are going to say, okay, listen, that was the 7, losing streak. That was the 7 games right there. We're putting a stop to it now. You're all rested. We're all good. We are still Stanley Cup champions, and we're going to come out here and kick ass. And I think with Ovechkin not being on the ice, if we're going to have the younger players coming up, and giving them more ice time, I think that's only going to work in our benefit. So I'm going to look in the optimistic angle of it. I feel like it's not as if these players went into this break thinking, oh, what's the big deal? It's just 7 losses. I feel like they, they know that they're letting people down. They're letting themselves down and their teammates. So they have their little fun with their family, and they're refreshed, and they come back and they're ready to kick ass. My only hesitation is I really wish it wasn't against Calgary, but who knows? Maybe that's exactly what they need, is to kind of go up against some, hardcore team that's got like a 33-17-5 or whatever the record is, and going up against the Johnny Hockeys and saying, all right, fuck yeah, here we are. Like, let's go. We're just as good as you guys are. So let's just prove it. And let's play the 60 minutes of hockey that we know that they can.
All good points. So the answer is, if I can put that out there, a little of both. And yes, I've said this many times before, so I'm going to sound like the classic frozen internet page. Watch the first 10 minutes. Watch the body language. Watch how they approach the game, especially after a long break like this. And Stephen and Christian, you both mentioned, I think Lisa too, historically, yes, we suck when we come off a long break.
But why not break it?
And it's happened so many times that you can almost count on it. So yes, there is that possibility. But if this team follows the right approach, they can come out. I think they've got a good chance against Calgary. This team is not without its flaws. They can be exploited. They don't have the best goaltending tandem. So if they come out and they put a lot of shots on net early and remember to hold on that lead, do what is necessary to hold on to that lead. If they approach the game with that strategy, I think they'll win. But if they try to play run and gun like they do, like they have been, same story, different day. So
Foundation.
that
60 minutes of hockey.
is the
60
answer.
minutes of hockey.
60
Shoot for
minutes
that.
of hockey and none of these fancy passes. If you get the puck, shoot it, or if you're confident in the pass that there is somebody there that's going to reciprocate, who's going to say, okay, I see that you're passing this to me and I'm ready. I'm all on board, but I feel like all these little fancy schmancy things are not working in their favor. So back to the basics, 60 minutes of hockey, and go out there, kick ass, and stay out of the sin bin.
There you go.
Okay. So with that, we have come to our final question. This mode is going to be our long answer essay. So if you can all hearken back to your college days when you had that final question that you come to with that big blank space underneath that you were expected to fill in.
No pressure.
We've now hit that point. Anna, did you want to introduce this one? Did you want to?
Let me pull it up. My phone just went. Okay, hold on one sec. Oh, long answer. Thanks, Gil. Okay, here we go. Do you want me to start with you, Gil? You want to go first?
Sure. Why not?
Or don't care? All right. So how far?
No, actually, let me go last.
Okay. Stephen, we'll start with you. So how far is this team from being playoff ready? And what do they need to do to get there? I feel like we're like in a Miss Universe contest right now. Like this is
Well, I want world peace. I want everybody to love each other.
Yeah, world peace. Yeah. It's all amazing. Can't we all just get along? No, fuck that. We want to be in the playoffs, and what do we need to do?
There you go.
Are they playoff ready now? No. They cannot expect to go out there, just flip a switch and get back to it. We can revisit that question later on in the month. They haven't, the beginning of the season was great. Hey, no hangover. We're good. We're ready to defend this title back to back. Right now, are they playoff ready? No. They're showing that they're not clicking, passing, defense. There's a lot of aspects of the foundation that have kinks in it. There's some ironing that needs to be worked out. You got a new coaching staff. You have the same core of players, thankfully. You got a new coaching staff. Some kinks need to be worked out. Face-offs need to be won. The defense needs to be cleaned up. Penalty kill needs to be cleaned up. You have so many aspects that need some polishing, and need some corrective action there. Is a trade necessary? If February is not clicking, and a trade may be needed to shake the team up and say, look, we're serious here, need to get to it, but we're making changes. We kept the team intact because we knew that we had the best core and we could have the best chance of repeating and being Stanley Cup champions again. Then we'll take a drastic measure. But are they playoff ready now? No. What do they need to get there? Like I said, improve, go back to the foundation. Crisp passing, tape on tape, smart passes. If you don't have a play, don't force the play. Defense, shut it down. Even if you have to go back to full-on trap hockey, force the other team into making mistakes.
Right.
We have enough weapons that other teams are scared of. If a team gives Ovi space, what happens. He kills you. If they give Kuznetsov space, he'll do the same thing. Oshie, so on and so forth. We have enough weapons that, you can't crowd any one player because you're leaving the other one open. If he gets the puck, he's going to make you pay. So force other teams into, play a system of play that will get your confidence back. The team needs some confidence. Even that, like I said, even that brings back, trap hockey. I don't like trap hockey, but it may be necessary to get confidence, put an end to that complacency. I think the inner workings of the team are fine. It's just, look, hey, we don't, maybe they're thinking is we don't need to put the pedal to the metal. This is only the regular season. We can cruise on. No, I don't think they need to be first place all through regular season. I'm fine if they don't finish at the top of the Metro. But let's put the work in to get us to the playoffs, get us into a good spot, get us a good pairing, and go from there. But, at this time of the regular season, it's time to start notching it up. Like I said at the beginning, February is going to be an interesting month. This could make or break this team. You got 2 months, of hockey to play. February's rough. March is not any easier. So with games, every other night, got 2 back-to-backs thrown in there. February is going to tell us a lot about this squad. I think they can do it. It's going to take the leaders on the team to keep the team, remember, hey, remember how we were last year, what we had to do to get us to hoist the cup. If we want to do it back to back, it's going to take this effort. It's going to take this work. We've had the break. We went on vacation. We've seen all the Instagram pics. I'm tired of seeing them. It's going to be 1 degree when I wake up for work tomorrow. I've seen all of them at, on the beach. Okay, I'm tired of seeing that. Let's get back to hockey. Get your mind back on it, and let's work on the back half of the season.
I think that's great. Lisa, what about you? In about 90 seconds, if you think you can, what do you think? Are we playoff ready, or what is it that we need to do to be playoff ready?
No, we're not playoff ready. We've got to work on face-offs. A lot of people want to trade Berkey, but the problem is, what are you going to get back? You're going to get a bottom 6 back for him because you couldn't bump anybody up any higher. We need to find out what's going on with Christian Juice, because the problem is if they don't think he'll be back in time for the trade deadline, you can't get rid of Bowie because you're going to need him. I can't stand the new aggression of the PK right now. They're worried too much on trying to score shorties, and half the time they're out of position and they're caught with their pants down. So they just need to get back to the basics on that. They've got all the puzzles, like everybody said. They just need to fit them back where they belong.
Awesome. Christian, 60 to 90 seconds. What do you think?
All right, no pressure. Go. No, they're not playoff ready, even though they're 3 points out of first right now. No, they're not playoff ready. They need to get back to basics. They have to win face-offs. They have to start scoring on the power play again. Figure that one out. Better passes. Learn how to get out of their zone. Yes, I think there will be a trade. The name I think they should go after is Brian Boyle. He's a face-off specialist. He's great on the PK. He's great on the power play. He's with the Devils right now. The Devils are floundering. They're in last place. He's 34 years old. I don't think we should give up a lot of, young talent for him. Maybe, I don't know. But I think he's maybe somebody, or veteran, we can look at to make that stretch run. February is going to make or break this team. There's going to be a lot of back-to-backs. There's a huge West Coast swing in there, and there's another 12:30 start on a Sunday there for you too as well. That's something to think about there. Those, I think, will make or break this team. We need guys to step up. Oshie needs to step up. Kuznetsov needs to step up. Orpik needs to sit down every now and then. Ovi's done great, but we need the guys to start playing together now and make this stretch run.
I agree. And I think that Boyle comment, you know what? I hadn't thought about it, but you may have something there, because I do admire the guy, and I know am I correct? And he is that leukemia. He had leukemia diagnosis earlier.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's the one that survived that. Yeah.
And, that's amazing in itself. And I know that, it just him as a person, I just want to acknowledge that. So yeah, I followed that story, but, I wouldn't be opposed, anything to to help us out. So Gil, you ready? 10 seconds.
I am.
Go. Just kidding.
As always. Okay, well, I think
And we're done. Just kidding.
it's got to be, well, it's got to come from within. Now, a trade would be nice. A Brian Boyle would be nice to have. But the fact is that, as we've seen in real life on Wall Street, the market doesn't always do what you want it to do. So the answer would be better to come from within, and that is to, one, first, start to get mad. Start to not like the fact that they've been pushed around. Okay? Why was there no reaction to other teams mocking Kuzi's celebration? Why aren't they getting mad about that?
Yeah.
Why aren't they fighting back against getting these bad penalties that are resulting in injuries? Why don't they come with that snarl that they had all through the playoffs? Where's that been? That's what I'm missing here. It has to start with that. And also, they also have to make better decisions, top from bottom, on the ice and behind the bench. So the answer to the question, is this team playoff ready? Hell no. But they can be if they change those two things.
Nice. Good job. No, you know what? I don't even know if I really have an answer because that we haven't already heard. So no, they're not ready. They need to I agree. I wish they would have had more than just one practice coming back together. But you know what? If they are true Stanley Cup champions and true, friends, athletes, players, they know each other, then the time apart was good to be with their families, and they're in a better mind space. To come back on the ice should just be like, riding a bike. Like, hey, no worries. I wasn't on the ice with you for 5, 6, 7, 8 days. But I know exactly where you're going to be. I know exactly what I need to do, and let's get back in there. So I don't want to see any rusty bullshit excuses or anything like that. I want them to come out strong, and I want to see the younger players come out and just kick ass in Calgary or against Calgary.
That game is going to go one of two ways. The Caps are either going to take way too long to find their legs, and they're going to fall behind and end up chasing the game and lose again, or they will come out fire breathing, guns a-blazing, and put in 3-4 real quick in succession, and then knuckle down and then play their game. I don't think there's going to be a middle ground. It's going to be one of those two extremes for this game because the layoff is just going to be that much of a factor. I think that's how it's going to go.
That's how. I mean, I know everybody so far has said that in the past they have come back from their break and been rusty and it's rough and whatever. But you know what? The difference is we've won the Stanley Cup, so I'm kind of hoping that maybe we can change that thought process. Change it up. Like, I kind of want to go into it thinking that after losing 7 games in a row, you've got to feel like shit. And you've got to feel like, I cannot believe, like, no more. I'm not doing this. And I'm going to go out and give my 100%. And because I feel like some of the players absolutely have not. And, we say as a team, they haven't played 60 minutes of hockey, but there are certainly players out there that are giving it 100%. And then there's players who are definitely giving in like the more 60% range. That's where I feel like, the coaching staff has to come in and rally these guys, but so do those vet leaders need to come in and say, enough's enough. Like, let's go back and watch, the Stanley Cup parade and everyone's, kind of get the mojo back again. So I don't know.
Yes, I have to pinch myself anytime I say, hey, we're the Stanley Cup champions. We want to defend this thing.
Exactly.
I mean, I never thought that would be rolling off the tip of my tongue. The long history of this team, how we looked against Detroit in the Stanley Cup Finals. Wow, bringing up Esa Tikkanen, that that's haunting. But I'm still basking in it. We're the Stanley Cup champions. How about that? And
right.
But can this team defend it? And I think they can. They have the core. They kept the core together. They can. Little tweaks here and there. Forget about those awful showings. Put that in the back of your mind. Throw away the tape and let's move on. We know what we need to do. These players know what they need to do. Coaches have a job in front of them. This month is going to be telling. But I'm holding out hope. I think they can do it. I think something's going to switch and say, look, we're Stanley Cup champions. We're not playing as Stanley Cup champions. And, that hunger will kick back in. And let's hope
they'll get there. They'll get that back. They will. Okay, so, all right, flip a coin here, I guess. Lisa and or Chris, either of you have a final thought to all this?
Final thought. So going back to the first game of the season, watching them whip up on the Bruins 7-0, and then a lot of the players had talked about what it meant to them to see the banner go up, and it was for the fans. I want to see that again. I think that's still in there within that team. I think they can do that. And Ovechkin skating around with the cup and then him putting it back in the case and said he wanted to have that feeling again. Oshie said the same thing as well. They want to be able to do that again. They want to go back to back. We all remember the parade, right? Back to back, back to back. I think the team can do that. I think they just need to work out the kinks. I think that, like Steph said, I never thought in this lifetime I'd say, hey, we're the Stanley Cup champions. We're the reigning Stanley Cup champions. There's a target on their back. I agree, Gil. Other teams are going to gun for us. We're at the top of the mountain, or the King of the Mountain, right? Remember that game we used to play as kids? But I think that there is a target, and all these teams are going to run and gun for us and try to knock us off. But I think this team can do it. I think they can get over. They have to work through the adversity, right? Everybody, every team, every business, whatever. You have to go through some adversity, right? It makes the great ones great, right? It makes really good leaders good leaders. It also makes good teams as well, too. So I think if they can be able to get over this hump, I think they'd be okay. They're only 3 points out of first place. They're still 27-17. It's not too bad. Pittsburgh is in fourth place right now. Not too bad right now. But if they could get over some of these little mistakes, I think we'd be okay.
All right. I like it. Okay, Lisa, you get the last draw here.
I want to expound on something Anna said. My biggest thing when I'm there watching the games is I just want to see them play with joy, and I haven't seen that. When they go out there and they play and they're just out there having fun, that's when they're at their best. And they need to get back to doing that, because when they play that way, they're unbeatable.
Okay, all good points, lady and gentlemen. I want to thank you all for joining us this evening and making up our star-studded panel. Stephen, Lisa, a great job for your debut on the Triple P here. Christian, as always, wonderful to have your insight as well. And at some point later on this season, certainly, or down the road, would like to have you all on. Perhaps for playoff talk or something similar to that. But great points, all of you, and want to thank you all collectively for joining us tonight and sharing your wisdom and experiences. I know it's getting on kind of late, so we're going to let you all go and wrap everything up. And keep listening, supporting the show, you guys. Spread the word, and thanks again for being a part of this.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks again, guys.
So
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, so that was Chris Levesque, his brother Stephen, and Lisa Desabrais making up our fan panel for this roundtable discussion.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Minus the ice cream emergency hiccup in the middle, but the fact that I could mute myself and you guys could go on is awesome. I adore all three of them. I think are so knowledgeable, and I love that everyone has a different opinion on things. That makes it so much more fun.
Yeah, they were awesome. So Any other final thoughts to anything else to add to this, Anna?
No.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
I'm all good.
Okay, so to wrap it up, yes, this is a team that isn't doing anywhere near as well as it can and should, but I think the light is at the end of the tunnel as far as the losing streak. It may or may not come with this next game, but I don't think they should worry about that. I think they will right the ship. I think they will get back to what made them champions and what made them great. So of that, I am certain. So we're going to stop it here and wrap it up.
Awesome.
For Anna Knox. How's that?
Oh, I just said
Anna?
Awesome.
Oh, okay. All right. So for Anna Knox, this is the Blue Liner on Point. Signing off for another episode of the Power Play Point podcast.
Wait, there we go. Okay, I wanted to be sure that we had another reminding you.
We do.
Of course.
And reminding you to remember when plastic surgery was something of a taboo subject. Well, now you mentioned Botox and nobody raises an eyebrow.
No.
Hallelujah, and let's go Caps.
Go Caps.
This has been another episode of the Power Play Point podcast. All episodes are available from Apple Podcast, the Podbean app, blueliner77.podbean.com, and now available from Stitcher. Music by Joe McAllister, voiceover by Jeffrey Conkle.